Good evening. Um, I already went all the way through this script, made one of these videos. The thing is, I'm using iMovie. It cut out after so long. I don't know what the limit here is, but it cut out. So I just made iMovie force quit, and I'm starting over from scratch. So instead of ad-libbing any of this, I'm just going to read through this script as quickly as possible. It's a very complex subject. Um, I could talk about this for a long time and still just scratch the surface of what I understand about it, and that is just barely the surface being scratched of what there is to understand about it. There's a lot here, but let me just go quickly through this. It's my 7th video in 7 days. Uh, this right here is the most involved that I've had so far. It took me half a day to put this script together. It's actually the second one. So I'm going to run through as quickly as possible. I'd like to talk today about how to think, and basically what I'm learning about how to think. That is, being able to apply how to think to my thought processes and using that to improve the quality of my life. Now, there's a lot to dissect there, how to think, and many philosophies about what that entails. And without getting too bogged down on that and why we're taught what to think in school but not how to think, I'd like to get right into how to think. This is something very important to me and an integral part of the changes I'm seeking to grow into. And by the differences in what to think as opposed to how to think, it's a matter of superficiality and depth, I believe. That's just, for me, the quickest, easiest way to describe it. The difference between what to think and how to think in itself could be a whole book. But what to think, basically, is gaining a body of knowledge and just the reactions to events that cause a fight or flight response. And that's a very slim definition. It's much more than that. But anyways, how to think is being able to observe your thoughts and check if they're valid or helpful or harmful, and change them if they're invalid or harmful, or just accept them if it's a gravity problem you're up against. But how to change your thoughts, and what does that even mean? I have a few examples I've come across. And the first is a TED Talk where the speaker asked, "Have you ever told a child to concentrate?" Then he paused and waited for an audience response. And then he said, "Did you teach that child how to concentrate?" Then there was laughter. Obviously, almost everyone in there had at one time taught a child to concentrate. No one had taught a child how to concentrate. Did I say that right? Everyone had told a child at one time to concentrate. No one had taught a child how to concentrate. All right, another example is using REBT or CT to observe your thoughts if you're disturbed, and finding a way using a certain set of tools to either validate those thoughts and the accompanying upset and change the mindset that keeps you disturbed, or invalidate the thoughts and replace them with more rational ones. These are therapies, and I put links below. And another short example is something I heard once: don't believe everything you think. Very pithy, that one. Other examples are Buddhism and Taoism, which both seek to teach practitioners how to think as opposed to what to think. And another example is Shakespeare, who wrote, "Nothing is either good or bad, but thinking makes it so." Another example is the Greek philosophers who, like the Buddha, taught their students not to believe out of hand what they were taught, but to use their own minds to examine it and come to a conclusion based on their own judgment. I doubt many watching had the experience in school of the teacher saying, I'm going to teach you how to think so you can determine if what I teach you is true or even relevant. Pretty much, they taught you what to think, and they taught you it's all relevant. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here teaching it. The point is that I wasn't taught how to think, not by my teachers or parents, or really anyone except those I seeked out when I caught a glimpse of how learning to think is a form of empowerment and can allow me to do things I want to in life and change inhibiting and self-limiting thoughts. It's fundamental in knowing if what I was taught growing up is worthwhile, and by that, in knowing if what I was taught growing up, I don't mean everything. I mean any specific thing I was taught while I was growing up. Am I still using that as a mode of thought? Am I still using it as a tool, as a way of going forward? And if I am, is it working? Is it right? Is what I was taught good stuff? And you know, like everybody else, I was taught a lot. There's a lot in here that came from my formal education when I was young. A lot of it's good stuff. A lot of it's crap. A lot of it is not going to help me do the things in life I want to do. And therein lies the problem. Part of the problem, anyways. So, as I said, it's fundamental in knowing if what I was taught growing up is worthwhile. It's fundamental in knowing what is important, what is healthy and nourishing, what keeps me grounded yet growing, and what just keeps me static and stuck in place. The biggest thing I've learned is to step outside my thoughts and observe them, and basically be present by not being caught up in wandering, meaningless thought. I would say the best things that help me with that are exercise, meditation, and being out in nature. But no matter what I do, I only get better at it in increments. It's a continual process, and I only see the potential of what it has to offer instead of being in the mindset I want to be in all the time. I throw out a whole bunch of stuff there: Buddhism, Taoism, modern psychology, Shakespeare, and it may seem that, you know, this stuff is spanning geography, history, philosophies, and it might seem like I cast my net too wide to catch the stuff I'm using to improve my thinking, but there are similarities in the fundamentals that all of those schools and teachings offer in terms of how to think in a more constructive way. I hardly touched on everything I want to talk about, and this is the most involved video subject-wise I've done, and I'm doing one a day for 30 days. This is number 7. So I have to end this and get to other things in life. I put a link for a Robert Kiyosaki video below, and while that's mostly about making money, right at the beginning of the video he goes into how schooling fails us in terms of how to think about money, how to think about the economy, and what to do to your benefit concerning that. Like I said, the focus here is not about making money, but he made a very good point about how schools tend to fail us because they don't teach us. Again, it gets real involved. That's a whole nother video. I just want to cut it off right there. There will be more in future videos. There's links below. And I would just like to say thank you for watching. And if you didn't watch, well, what's wrong with you, man? Talk to you tomorrow.